Hello, how is everybody today? I am doing the dual Yuletide herb blend and ritual. This isn't just for Yuletide. I just kind of named it that because of the season. It's a good sugary blend for any time of the year. I really like to use it in conjunction to a ham mix for my glaze. So for this ritual, you're gonna need, and you can't see them, but there's the candles on the inside. You're gonna need a red candle, a green candle, a pink candle, and a white candle. You are going to need brown sugar, ground cloves, ground cinnamon, ground ginger, ground allspice, and ground nutmeg, aka pumpkin spice blend. So if you just want to get a pumpkin spice blend and just do a 9 tablespoons of that, that would be more than enough. This is a very heavy cinnamon mixture the way I learned how to make it, so you can always knock down the cinnamon from tablespoons to teaspoons if you don't like a really heavy cinnamon in your food or in your rituals or your self-care as well. And as always, with anything that I post, I do give proportions on what to do, but you can make it to your liking and to your taste. So what we're going to do is you start with lighting your incense, which is already gone, cleansing your jar with the smoke, and then lighting your candles, which I can see, you can see my reflection. I'm going to try to move this after I do the filling of the jar, so you guys can see my whole setup. It is a new tripod that I'm trying to learn how to use. And then once I fill the jar up, I'm going to check my comments again. Alright. So I do have my 4 candles burning. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take 1 cup cinnamon, 4.5 teaspoons of clove, 9 tablespoons of ground cinnamon, 6 teaspoons of ginger, 4.5 teaspoons of ground allspice, and 6 teaspoons of nutmeg. Now what I like to do, because of how thick brown sugar is, I like to actually kind of scoop it in so it kind of blends better. Go ahead and do a couple scoops of this. So I'm starting with my brown sugar, and then I'm going to put my cloves and my cinnamon, and then stir it. So, alright. Next is going to be the 4.5 teaspoons of the cloves. Obviously, this one is definitely a fire safety thing since you're doing it within the circle. Make sure you don't have any loose clothing or anything flammable around the flame. And then here's my hat. And then this is going to be the cinnamon. So this is the most because it's going to be the 9 tablespoons. There's actually 9 tablespoons in here. Beth, you're not late. I'm just starting to kind of mix everything together. So all you missed was me lighting my incense, cleansing my jar, lighting my candles, and I started doing the ingredients. So I already put the 1 cup of brown sugar, the 4.5 teaspoons of ground clove, and the 9 tablespoons of cinnamon. Now I'm going to give it a stir just so that as we're going, we're working with that little bit of moisture in the brown sugar so it doesn't clump together like so. And I'm going to add more brown sugar, and then next is going to be 6 teaspoons of the ground ginger, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then I'm going to give this a stir again. And something else I do because of how clumpy it is, once I fill it and stir it, I still shake the jar too. So I will do that as well. I am just making a mess everywhere. But it's not fun in the kitchen if you're not making a mess, right? Alright, so next is going to be the 4.5 teaspoons of allspice. 2, 3, 4.5. And the 6 teaspoons of nutmeg. 6. And then I am going to put my bigger jar that I just doubled everything in the center for right now while I shake this. And then as I'm shaking, I'm going to look at a sherry. This is actually my bigger batch. You can kind of see it. I didn't really top it off because I think this jar will fit in this jar. You know me, I'm always pre-making stuff too because I don't think you guys wanted to watch me fill up that big jar. So for the big jar, I actually triple the brown sugar and only add 2 more of each of the spices because this is really, really strong. So I would actually recommend, if you're gonna make this, any big batches, if you want to use it in a ham, add a little bit more brown sugar to it, because I did taste it and it's definitely a cinnamon blend. Yeah, the bad thing is, here's a little confession. We're not in my kitchen, we're in my bedroom. So now I am going to have to vacuum before I go to sleep. Alright, so here is my altar and my setup. As you can see, I have all my candles. Normally I do a circle, but I don't have a circle space on here. So now, we did step 1, which was to cleanse and light the candles. We filled the jar. The jar is back in the middle of the candles. So now we're on step 5, where we're going to recite while holding the mason jar. So we're going to hold this little guy. In this jar, I hold happiness, joy, and love. This blend brings me and my family abundance and peace on this day and every day. I use this blend. This is my will, and it will be done. Now we're going to place it back into the clutch of our candles. We're going to leave this. This is going to be a burn down thing. As I did before, I really like doing the burn downs, and then I'm going to move this to my kitchen altar and let it sit on the altar until I start preparing my Yule meal. But I actually decided that this time I wanted to kind of go into why we use these blends and these items. And like I said, you guys can cheat. The spices is pumpkin spice, so you can always get store-bought pumpkin spice and just add that in there as well. I'm so scared my phone's gonna fall. Alright, I'm gonna take a second and look at everything. Oh, Chrissy, I love that. Witches in the kitchen doing what they taught. Witches in the kitchen doing what they ought. I love that. Absolutely love that. Hi, Stephanie. How are you? My goodness, the smell of this is absolutely amazing, especially when I open up this bigger one. It is so amazing. And so this is part 1 of a 3-part series, I believe, using this blend. My next one is going to be using it in a ham glaze, and then my final live with it is going to be using it. That's shaking. It's making me so nervous. My phone's gonna fall. The last one is going to be using it to make a body scrub. So definitely, if you're allergic to any of the ingredients in here, you can always find substitutes for them as well. Now to kind of go into why these ingredients. So brown sugar works with the sacral chakra. It helps manifest creativity, pleasure, and abundance. Used on a full moon for emotional balance, intuition, and manifestation. So this is great thing to use the brown sugar alone in your workings. Ground cloves works with the root, sacral, and solar plexus chakras. It is used for love, luck, and abundance. Full moon is best for this spice, and it's very good in a full moon self-care ritual. Ground sugar blocks negative energy from your home, helps with manifestation, can bring abundance and love, and also helps with healing works. You can use it both on a full moon and a new moon. Ground ginger balances the root chakra, can be used to heat up your magical workings. This spice likes a waning moon, so any of those more spicier workings that you're doing, throw in a little bit of ground ginger and it'll help. Ground allspice works with the root chakra. The spice is also used for purity, blessings, abundance, and works well on a new moon. Alright. Ground nutmeg helps with aiding to have vivid dreams. It promotes lucid dreaming, and it can be used to help in divination. It works well with the root chakra along with the third eye. It works best on a full moon. So with the candles, green is for, of course, money, luck, earth magic, prosperity, and success. Pink, we're using it for warmth, unconditional love, romance, joy, friendship, self-love, reconciliation, forgiveness, and intimacy. White is used for protection, new beginnings, purity, truth, peace, harmony, calming the mind, and calling on the lunar or goddess energy. Red candle is for lust, potency, stamina, I cannot talk, attract a new partner, or improve your sex life. Good luck, confidence, willpower, strength, courage, and determination. And then the incense I used for this one, since I'm doing it for Yule time, a winter pine cone scent, which the pine cone is used for eternal life, regeneration, spiritual enlightenment, I cannot talk, fertility, and mortality. They are also sacred to Venus, and they connect us with the tree of life. Alright, I am gonna go ahead and scroll through the comments now. Definitely, Chrissy, when you think of the rest of it, let me know. Even comment it here, because I really love that save thing. Cloves are in a lot of love spells. I've noticed that too. Hi, Patricia. I'm excited to use this too, because this is a little bit more of a expanding on what I normally make with my ham. So normally I don't use what's in the pumpkin spice as much, but with it being like this and the way it smells, I'm so excited to make the ham glaze the next live. Of course, Haley, I definitely want to start doing that in all my lives. It's one thing that I really like doing because of my herbalism background. And also, I think it just helps to know why we're doing it. Because I feel like sometimes you can take one of the spices out and replace it with a substitute as long as it tastes well for the food. For spell work, it doesn't matter. But on the food side, to kind of reach your needs better. I am actually, my next live is going to be a ham glaze using this blend and then some other ingredients as well. Thank you, Serenity. Yeah, I was writing this and I'm like, ooh, why don't we write all the correspondence with it too? So I will probably be doing this with everything that I'm doing, only because I like to know, especially stuff that I share that I learned, I like to know why we're using it. When I'm making up something, like I did with this one, and I tasted it first and it tastes amazing, I kind of know more why, and I figured all this stuff, the cloves and the red candle and the pink candle, it's all because this time of year is for loved ones. It's for relationships. A lot of engagements happen at this time of year, so I always think of like all those happy times and family time. I could cook the ham on the live too, if you want me to. Since I just saw somebody, I didn't see who said it because it scrolled away, but somebody said they never made the ham. I can actually make the glaze and make the ham too. Alright, I'll definitely do that. I am actually gonna steal my ex-husband's kitchen though, because he's got a bigger kitchen to do that. So yes, I will definitely do that. I shall make the ham too. You know, I think it would too, Sherry. I think it would be amazing dessert topper, dry. Sprinkle it over something, a pumpkin something, because it is basically pumpkin spice with a little extra cinnamon in it. Sherry's low key feeding into my dreams of being a cooking show host. I want to light another one of these cones. I will be right back. So these pine cone incense are absolutely amazing smelling. I got them off of Amazon. I don't even remember how much I paid for them, but they smell so amazing. Ooh, pumpkin spice cheesecake bites with this blend on there. Absolutely. So I have a question for you guys. When you're lighting your incense, do you let it go out and start smoking? Or do you blow it out? This is just for me. Thank you. So now I'm going to start a cooking show too. One day I'm going to have my dream kitchen and my cooking show. And look at the candles. What they're doing again. I'm pretty sure they did the same thing in my other live too, except for the green. The green's like blowing towards my bed, so I guess it thinks I need a new mattress or something, so it's giving me money for that. But everything else is moving in towards the jars. I blow it out too, usually because my dear friend, who's actually sleeping on the ground right now, is usually over my side. I was just holding it right now since I know he's not going to come here, but I will do either or. I'll either blow it out if it looks like it's a stick that's going to burn all the way out, or I'll let it go out. Because I had a stick when I was working. I lit it for abundance, and I guess the universe didn't want the store to make money that day. While I was turned around for a second, the whole incense burned completely down, so I didn't even get smoke out of it. No, the candles are actually... Here, I can read what the candles are for again. Carol, this is for you. So, I didn't do them for the elements. I actually did them for things that I think about during Yule. So I did the green. For the money, the good luck, that one is for earth magic, prosperity, success, and health. The pink is for warmth, unconditional love, romance, joy, friendship, self-love, reconciliation, forgiveness, and intimacy. The white candle is for protection, new beginnings, purity, truth, peace, harmony, calming the mind, calling on the lunar or goddess energy. And then the white is for the lust, the potency, stamina, attraction, improve your sex life, find a partner, good luck, confidence, willpower, strength, courage, and determination. Ooh, apple dumplings with this would be amazing. Take a little bit of it when you're making your apples and cook the apples with this. You guys are going to have me cooking all day tomorrow now with all these suggestions to see what works and what doesn't work. Yes, let the holiday baking commence. Actually, I need to because I have a couple new recipes that I found this year that I've never made before, and I always prefer to like make a small batch before I go all in. One thing that I'm making is potato candy, which is basically potato candy. It's made with your mashed potatoes, powdered sugar, and peanut butter. Trisha's all hungry. I know. I think we're all hungry because now we're talking about cookies and pies. Well, 'tis the season for kitchen witch baking. Cheyenne, I may message you when I'm making it because I've never even heard of it before. It just looked really amazing. So, because I love potatoes, witches do have a sweet tooth going right now. Has anybody ever made a Yule log? Not the cake, but the actual log. Although I am trying to make the cake for the first time this year too. My computer doesn't let me love your comment, Diane. See, that's what I love. I love family recipes over just like Googling stuff. Yeah, we actually chopped off a huge limb off one of my tree and it made the perfect logs. So I think I'm going to make a Yule log. Maybe if I find one that I like a how to make it in the next couple of days, maybe we can have craft time live. Spontaneous craft time live. Yule is what? It starts I think that's why I am really pulled to it, Carol, is because I just found out that I have a lot of, like, the Scandinavian countries and the North countries in my bloodline. Well, straw Yule goat. That's really cool. Me too. I love craft time. I just don't get motivated to make stuff. Like, I have to be around people, and none of the people I know around here are really crafty. Does anybody have any questions? I think it's on my father's side. I don't know much about my father's side, is where I have the Norwegian blood. I'm also very, like, UK, Ireland, and Irish. So my grandmother is full Irish. So that's the main that I have. But then I have a lot of Welsh, Scottish, and English in my blood as well. Oh no. Christy, what color candles did your grandmother use when she made her Yule log? For sure, potato candy, the sugar less you need. I am definitely gonna make it probably Sunday. This is also a great ritual to do on a cold night. This heat coming off of these candles is so nice in my freezing cold. Very cool, very cool. Alright, I am gonna go ahead and hop off and let this candle burn down and then vacuum my room before I go to bed. Does anybody have any last minute questions before I hop off? Alright, I will see you guys later. Bye.